after your first quarter, it seemed like things started to settle down for the offense. How did it feel kind of at that point and when you got your rhythm a little bit?
I mean, it felt good out there. You know, the offense was dominating, executing on the run, pass. O-line was blocking well up front. I mean, it was going exactly how I expected and wanted it to.
Clearly it's a loss, and obviously, not what you wanted, but how did it feel just in general stepping out there the first time as a college starter?
I mean, I felt amazing playing football again, realistically as a starter, but of course it hurts the loss. Got to play better. Got to play better next week, go out there and execute.
Brian, go ahead.
Julian, obviously they came after you guys, so they were pretty aggressive. I think 15 tackles for loss today. And your offensive line was, kind of a mixed bag today. But can you talk about just that challenge of their pressure and you trying to play with some new offensive linemen?
I mean, we knew they were going to send pressure, freshman quarterback, all that stuff. I got to get the ball out faster. O-line did all they could, protected up front, gave me some time back there. And that's why I had, 299 or whatever I had. I mean, O-line did their thing. I just executed the throws.
How did you kind of approach this leading up into the opportunity you got last week? Obviously, you got some action against Delaware as well. How did you kind of wait your time for this opportunity?
I mean, realistically, I didn't know if it was going to come anytime this season, so I kind of just looked at it as a blessing and just an opportunity to take advantage of my opportunity. The loss hurts and sucks, but yeah, just like I said, just come out and get some next week.
Cool.
Considering how the last 2 weeks went, I think a lot of people question how much fight was left in this team. What did today say about this team? Even though it's a loss, what did it say about you guys that you were in this game?
Realistically, we're not going to give up. I feel like the past couple beatdowns we've had, it looked like we've given up and haven't wanted it as bad. But I think you can tell how bad we wanted this one. So this is going to hurt on the way home, of course. But just recoup, regather, get ready for the next week.
Do you think this game was a nice trend back the other way, even though it was a loss?
Definitely. Getting some momentum back offensively, defensively, getting some stops. It felt good. It felt good. Of course, that loss sucks. Just like I said, just try to flush it and get through the next week.
Well, how are you feeling about the redshirt thing? You can play one more and still redshirt, but do you want to play out and forget about the redshirt?
Oh yeah, I want to play football. I've been sent down all season. I'm ready to play. I'm excited. The guys are ready to work. We on that. I'm on that.
Are you starting to build a pretty special connection with Mario Miller? It seems like you guys are continuing to gain that chemistry.
No, definitely. Same thing with Joseph and Sincere and all those guys out there. Just those extra reps after practice are so important. I was the third string last week, so I wasn't getting as many reps with those guys. But after practice every day this week, just getting those extra reps we needed just so we can get that chemistry.
Welcome into a new BuffStampede Radio. Adam Munsterteiger, the publisher of BuffStampede.com, joined by football analyst William Gardner. William, how you doing, friend?
Pretty good. How are you doing? I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit tricky traveling back from Pittsburgh. They actually got their first snow of the season, so our plane was delayed quite a bit, and we didn't get to fly back until Monday very early. Woke up at 3:30. I don't even know what time is at this point, but got the bye week to get back, and there was the good, the bad, and the ugly. At least we got the good this week.
We got some good. I don't know. We got the same old ugly, and it's getting kind of old to me. 3 years in, watching the same stupid stuff trip us up. But we found out that JuJu Lewis can play as advertised.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't know. The defense was better, but couldn't pull it together in the fourth quarter when they really needed it. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it's a loss. It's a closer loss than the two previous weeks, but we didn't fix anything. I don't know.
Well, our great sponsor, Taco Bell, sent you a Jordan Seaton shirt, me a JuJu Lewis shirt. And I think I told you last week on the show, I'd wear it if he does certain things. And he superseded all of those except for the win.
Yeah.
But just seeing how he handled that loss, I got it all, man. I got my JuJu shirt on. And for the folks that get on our YouTube comments when we're at CU and ask us why we're not wearing CU gear, it's because that's frowned upon in the journalism realm. But you hang around here long enough, you know where my heart is. So I don't have to really go much beyond that. But happy to not even eat crow, but just happy for Juju that like he cares. And this football team has a quarterback that wears his heart on his sleeve after a game, and it matters to him. We've been missing that, as Bucky said. I'm going to read a quote by him in a second, but that was beyond the stats. I was more encouraged by just Juju's resiliency and his attitude post game.
Well, you didn't give me a chance to talk about my shirt. I don't know why you got a black one. I got a white one. I was going to wear a Jordan Seaton, but he didn't play this week, so I figured that wouldn't be appropriate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, after the bye week, Coach Prime said that he's going to be back after the bye week, so we can get back to your Juju shirt next time.
Yeah. I thought JuJu Lewis did everything you wanted to see from a freshman quarterback, and certainly, it's standard for a quarterback to say it's my fault. I should have done better, but he didn't lose this game. He did everything he needed to do, and it's all the other guys that let him down, quite frankly. But it is nice to see somebody with the leadership again at the quarterback. To me, frankly, maybe other people have seen that earlier this year, but I haven't. So I think it makes sense to for him to keep playing the next 2 weeks. Redshirting in the modern era with the portal just seems silly and stupid almost. You're not going to you redshirt them so they can play for somebody else.
You just wish maybe the Delaware game wasn't on his resume just to be able to still keep that intact. But yeah, you're probably right. It's kind of not going to matter at the end of the day, probably with the way these rules go.
Yeah, and I'd like to see him out there and see him play, and hopefully we get our 2 tackles back and do a better job protecting him. But I don't know. There's not much. I don't think there's much to say about Juju. I mean, I think there's a lot of other things to say about this game.
Yeah, but Juju is the future at the most important position in college football, right?
Yeah, but we're okay. Where's the future going to be if Coach Prime can't start to fix things that are not been fixed in 3 years? That's my question.
We got a lot of questions to dive into all of that. So yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah.
But I think you talk about takeaways from the game. I'd like to get some talk about this game before we move on. But
sure.
We see the same silly thing. We see a punt block, which is inexcusable, should never happen. The wide receivers can't get open. They don't block. They get routes wrong. The scheme is vanilla. 7 sacks. I mean, come on, man. I don't give a damn that you got your 2 second-team tackles. Both of those guys have been starters before, and they should do better. The stupid penalties just continue. Poor clock and timeout management continues. Silly personnel decisions. I don't know what Livingston's doing, but we can't cover a wheel route. If you put me running a wheel route, I could score against this defense. I just don't understand why they can't figure that out. And I'm gonna throw something out there. Omarion Miller's a liability, man. I'd sit that dude on the bench because everything he gives, he takes away just as much. Another false start, fumble, doesn't block. I'd sit him down and say, well, you want to play, you do all the other things. And that's. You look at all the false starts in this game, and it's just ridiculous. That's just discipline, and this team has no discipline, and that's entirely coaching.
Yeah, there were definitely some alarming moments during that football game. Omari Miller is definitely one of those. Really, it's kind of like Steven Montez, a different position, but a guy that is so talented. You're just like, can you just put it all together? Can you just do that?
Get your head in the game. He doesn't care enough about the game. He thinks he's a star, and all he cares about is the big plays, but he doesn't do the little things. So I would sit the damn guy because he's not a football player, man. As soon as you get your head in the game and decide that the team is more important than you, maybe we'll get you back on the field. Because his mistakes are all mental mistakes. It's not a talent stuff. It just, took a touchdown off the board last week. I mean, it's just sick.
The weather must be changing. Dennis / 1983 said, the fan is off behind you, William. Is this is the back of your head getting warm there? What are we gonna do here?
Sometimes it's a little chilly in here with the fan on. So.
Okay. We're November 11th. It's warming up a little bit in Denver. It's a beautiful fall day, but not quite there yet.
So, I think the other thing you notice again, especially if you can watch the all 22, is that we seem to have got receivers running into each other downfield or running into the same zones. We don't really seem to have a concept to our offensive plan. We still can't run the ball 3 years in. I don't give a damn that I wouldn't call it a patchwork offensive line. The three interior guys were the same. Kareem Harden's played out there before, so that's not new. I don't know what happened to him. I think part of the sack issues was JuJu not really understanding the pocket at this level yet.
That's what Coach Prime was telling me. I asked him point blank, like, were you impressed with his resiliency in the post-game press conference? He said, well, he kind of alluded to the fact that JuJu presented some of those sacks on himself.
Yeah, and that takes some experience. I think he's used to the high school level and playing at a place where they dominated. And so, at least a couple of those sacks were him stepping up when he should have rolled out or done something different. But you learn from those. I mean, you learn from those things, hopefully. And, well, good players learn from those things and get better at it. So he just needs to see some of that and have to react more differently. And some of them were, well, one of them was just a blown pickup by a running back. So it's not always the offensive line either there.
Yeah.
So lots of things that go into that. But, the problem is that other teams could put the pressure on us, but we haven't been able to put the pressure on other teams this year. I don't know, that just seemed to have gone by the wayside this season.
Let me ask you a question as a longtime football coach. When a team gets 15 tackles for a loss for you, they've clearly dialed things up. How much of that is personnel? How much of that is on the scheme that you can dial up a defense that's going to get 15 tackles for a loss? And they were going to pin their ears back coming at JuJu Lewis, like especially after what happened in their last game in terms of pressure getting put on the quarterback. How do you kind of assess the fact that West Virginia was able to get 15 tackles for a loss in one football game?
Because our offense is so vanilla, almost any defense could do that to them. A good offensive coordinator mixes things up. You also have a scheme that you understand and that we have no running game. Hell, if you just ran the damn inside zone and counter back and forth, you ought to at least have positive rushing. But these guys, I don't know what's in the damn playbook, but how they call plays is ludicrous. At some point you got to call an offense that gives your team a chance. Some of these things are personnel, but there's no lack. It's not a lack of talent. Either they're not coached to do it right, or they're not given the right kind of plays. But if you really want to run the ball, then you let the offensive line get off the ball and get into people and go run it. That number of tackles for losses. I'd have to watch the film carefully to really say what it is, but either way you look at it is coaching. Either they didn't perform their blocks correctly, or the running backs didn't run correctly. And I know I'll get the comments on here saying, "Hey, well, the coaches don't go out there and play." Well, you're just telling me you don't understand football without saying you don't understand football, because you have to teach them how to play, and if they don't get taught the right techniques and whatever, they're not going to do it right. You also have to give them a scheme that gives them a chance. West Virginia clearly knew what we were going to do. Clearly knew what we were going to do. We didn't change anything up. We made it easy for them. That's why they can get 15 tackles for losses, because we don't change anything up. We don't adapt to anything, and so they came in with a game plan. They watched our film. They know what we're going to do. We do like 6 things, and we don't do them well, so that to me is about the offensive coordinator and the play calling. Yeah. Well,
Sean Neff coming in here.
When you run 6 plays and not very well, yeah.
My man Sean's going through it. I hope you're feeling well, man. We're going to get you on the podcast hopefully next week to get some of your thoughts. And missed you out there in West Virginia this weekend, and hope you're well. Yeah, this is spot on. a comment here by KHYNK. This offense doesn't set up or counterpunch. It's a rhythm thing that I think that we got a question about the OC position going forward, I think on our mailbag that we're going to get into, but that's part of why you need somebody that has college experience to be able to call plays at this level. You got to find a rhythm. And I know you do in the NFL as well, but it's a different rhythm. It's a very different rhythm.
And I wish we could have a board and we could talk, and I could, like you run a stretch zone and you're kind of running it to the left, let's say, but then you've got a component that comes back to the right, whether it's a run pass option sort of with the quarterback coming back that way, and you run that play, you run that stretch zone, and you see what the backside guy on the defense does, right? And if he doesn't stay home, then you burn him. We don't ever do that. We don't ever run a play and watch what they do on the backside and then come back and make them pay for it. It's like our offensive staff doesn't understand the game of football at all.
So this was a comment made by Deion Sanders Jr., also known as Bucky in Boulder. He did a post-game comment as he was going out to the team shuttle at West Virginia, and he said, quote, "Shout out to Juju because your quarterback was just crying, saying sorry because we lost, put himself on the line, put his heart on the line. It means something to him. I told him, thank you for caring." I love seeing that dog in him. It shouldn't mean more to me, a cameraman, than those on the field. So thank you, bro.
Yeah.
You don't even want to be mediocrity, people that just accept a loss. Don't be around those people. Juju is a warrior dog, and that's how it should be. Good stuff coming from him. And
I think, you take that and to me, like on that offense, JuJu Lewis and Jordan Seaton give a damn, and on the defense,
they do.
Arden Walker gives a damn, and those two freshmen ends and Tawfiq Byard give a damn. We got too many guys on this year's team that they're playing for their money or for whatever the hell they want. But we missed that from last year. People can say whatever they want about Nakai Hill-Green, but he loved the damn game and he wanted to win,
Mm-hmm.
And we're missing that. This offensive line, they got the talent up there to be dominant against people, but they're not given the opportunity by the coaches. And then they just don't, I don't know. I mean, well, we're going to get into this, but something happened on that bye week, man. Something happened on that bye week.
We'll get into that. And they got another bye week coming up this week. The importance of the next two games, in your opinion, William, is on a scale of 1 to 10, what? Like, it is obviously we're auditioning for staff and players at this point. Who has bought in? Who is going to have the right body language through the facilities? Who's going to put in that extra time to keep preparing for these last two games, even though bowl eligibility is out the window? But does it matter long term? Like, what do these next 2 weeks in this current bye week mean for the future of Colorado football?
Well, I think it's going to tell us a lot about Coach Prime and what he can do with this team. And I mean, it's a tall task against these two teams, but we need to find out if Coach Prime can keep these guys interested and on board. I think the last two games will have a lot to do with the transfer portal, whether guys stick around or not, who wants to come here and play. But I think we need to see some real leadership from Coach Prime, and not just the yelling and cussing and stuff, but he's got to find a way to reach these kids, and he's got to make some changes on that. He's got to make it clear there's going to be big changes on this staff. I think it's important that they come out and they give the effort like they gave against West Virginia. I think it makes a big darn difference. If we finish out with a couple of scores like Utah and Arizona, that's really bad. If we fight and we man, I hate to lose. Well, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. I'd rather do a lot of things than lose. But I kind
of want to know what you were gonna say there.
Well, I was involved in punches.
Text it to me after this show.
Okay, but I think that if they show fight and we see something from some young guys, and we see the team playing hard, I think that says something very good about Coach Prime and gives us hope for the future. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess that's the biggest thing for me.
Well, as we were figuring out what we were going to talk about on this show, you proposed one question, and it was, do you think Coach Prime can make this work? Do you want me to respond to that? Do you want to tackle
Yeah.
this first?
Go ahead. I'd like to, because I mean, I asked you.
Yeah, well, a year ago, William, I'm looking at flights, hotel situations out in New York City to go cover the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Right.
Been covering the Buffaloes for a minute, and that was a unique experience. They won 9 games last year. It's complicated in the sense that I know that this fan base has been beaten down, the folks that have been around for a very long time, and just want like to build off success and to feel that enjoyment of being this program on the rise and see that trajectory, not just one season, but into the next and building off that. And so that's been tough, but you go back to 22 and this program was dead. Couldn't get in transfers. Yeah, you were a dead FBS program at that point. Coach Prime has revitalized this program.
Yeah.
It's been down, up, down, up, down, up. It's been a roller coaster, certainly. And you feel those highs and lows more because there's so much more attention brought on the Colorado Buffaloes. And you could say, well, the reason he won 9 games is because he brought in Shador and Travis. Well, he's also brought in Jordan Seaton and Julian Lewis and some other really special players in this program. We talk about those freshman edge guys that we think are going to be really good in this program. So you're going to have to usher in a new era of CU football, and you hope this 2025 season is kind of a blimp on that radar in terms of lack of leadership. It's tough through the portal, but I would imagine that's something that they realize after this season that you want to be first in the living room, but you're going to vet that situation until you take them onto your roster type of thing. So I don't know. I think Coach Prime can make this work? 100%. There's not a doubt in my mind if he wants it. And it seems like he wants it. I'm not in Coach Prime's brain, so I have no idea what he's thinking day to day, but it seems like he loves Colorado. It seems like he needs kind of this outlet in his life to help mentor young men. And, frankly, 3-7 sucks, but it's better than not having Coach Prime as your head coach right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something that's going to sound weird is I have 100% confidence that Deion Sanders can make this work. Now, Coach Prime is a little bit different because that's a different, Deion Sanders burns with a red hot flame in terms of competition and desire to win. And he needs that. And you got to see, the difference between winning, being in a bowl game this season and not really comes down to me to the coaches on the staff and the schemes and teaching the fundamentals, like certain things just don't make any sense to me. Like Sean mentioned in the chat, why the hell are you going to run a stretch zone into the boundary, man? Go to the wide field and let a guy have some room to run. But those are just little things that are sort of instructive. I think that we have to look back at last summer and ask ourselves again, how much did his fight with cancer impact this team? And I think a lot of people say, well, you can do things from video from Texas, but it ain't the same as being there. And you don't have the same energy when you're battling cancer, And Coach Prime is one of the toughest dudes I've ever seen. I've never seen a person go through more and come out of it with a smile on his face, But there's limits, And I wonder about this staff, like the old saying, the cat's away, the mice will play. I wonder how much this staff really cooperated with each other to move this team forward without Coach Prime here. I'd clean house on this damn staff. Boy, I tell you what, I would clean house on these sons of bitches. I'd say, get your crap and get the hell out for most of them. Do I think Coach Prime can do it? Absolutely. I have no doubt that he can do it. Okay. He learns from his mistakes. That's what I've seen from him, in the 3 years here and in his past life. And I think he learns from mistakes and he gets better. So I think he can make this work, but I really think it comes down to what you said. Does he want it? Does he still want it? Does he still have that fire in his belly? And it sure looks like it to me. He's saying all the things that look to me like it is, but we'll see in the next month with these last 2 games and with recruiting, and there's some questions in here we're going to talk about that he needs to deal with. But yeah, I still believe he can make this work, and I still think this can be a blip. We got talent on this team. I think just like the first year, they missed on some of these guys, and some of these guys didn't turn out to be dogs, and we got to do better on that.
Yeah, no doubt. Did you know the nacho fries are back, William?
No.
At Taco Bell. Have you had the nacho fries? Have you tried?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty delicious, huh?
Yeah. Well, everything I get at Taco Bell is good to me.
That's a good lead into this right here. Fall is upon us and the weather is getting colder, so Taco Bell has decided to bring the heat. For a limited time, you can get Taco Bell's new Flamin' Hot Frito Grilled Cheese Burrito. Grilled cheese burritos are a fan favorite, and this edition takes it up a notch with a new spicy Flamin' Hot rice and crunchy Flamin' Hot Fritos. Loaded with seasonal ground beef, sour cream, and cheese melted on the inside and outside of the tortilla, this burrito will be sure to be a delight. The Buffs box at participating Colorado Taco Bell locations was such a hit that they are running out at this point. So thanks to everybody that supported your local Colorado Taco Bell and by extension helping out CU. Taco Bell has donated $1,000 to the Golden Buffalo Scholarship Foundation for every CU touchdown scored in 2025. That's 24 touchdowns, equaling $24K given to the Golden Buffalo Scholarship Fund so far with 3 games left. And the support from Taco Bell has not stopped there. The Taco Bell Foundation donated $500,000 to the Crawford Whole Student Athlete Scholarship Program at the University of Colorado. Besides promoting the Buffs via the in-store promotions, this was a significant donation to the university. It shows Taco Bell is making a difference in the lives of CU students. Live Moss at Taco Bell. There it is, Taco Bell. Live Moss. I actually got that Flamin' Hot Fritos burrito with 2 of our oldest kids this past week. It's pretty good. It's tasty.
I don't do
like spicy
hot.
Stuff. Okay.
No flaming, no hot.
No flaming, no hot.
No flaming.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's jump into the BuffStampede mailbag.
I had another comment I had to censor right too. Because something about flaming going in.
It's going flaming out the other side too.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you. So you actually got a Buff box last week, right? You were saying that?
Yeah. They're still advertising it at the one over here on Yale.
Yeah. We got a super chat from KA714. The summer off with him being sick, he wasn't able to bring in the leaders and players he wanted. I think he was pretty involved in that whole transfer portal process.
But the year before last year, I want to take what he just said there, and there was a whole big thing where he took all the leaders up into the mountains to that retreat, and they did all that. I didn't see that happen this year. Maybe it didn't. It just didn't get reported. But it seemed to me that they put a lot more into leadership and chemistry before last season. And I think they kind of took it for granted this year, or again, maybe because he was sick and wasn't here. I don't know. I think they need to do that every single year.
Yeah, you would hope that's not going to be the case going forward. Let's jump into the BuffStampede Radio mailbag. Let's start with Elrod, our guy. He asked, was the Iowa State game more of a flash in the pan and the wheels completely fell off after the bye week? Or was this season always leading to a losing season somehow? Is it just so hard to believe this same team had Georgia Tech and BYU, two very well coached teams on the ropes.
Well,
So a pretty loaded topic there.
yeah, it's a damn good question, and I think he and the next person asked the question that is right up on my mind is what the hell happened to that bye week? Because it was not a flash in the pan by any means. Because prior to that bye week, we had everybody on the ropes. You know, even the Houston game wasn't the closest game, but it was still, you know, within reach. But we had BYU on the ropes. You know, we had TCU on the ropes. We had Georgia Tech on the ropes. You know, we beat Iowa State, so it wasn't a flash in the pan. We were playing good football. We were just making too many mistakes here and there to just get over that hump, right? You know, and then we go into the bye week. And I don't know, man, something happened on that bye week because we come out of it. We're not even a team. We're not even competitive until this week. So I don't know. I don't think Iowa State was a flash in the pan at all. I think this team was on the verge of being pretty good before that bye week, and then something happened.
You know what that comes down to, I think, is lack of leadership. You go into a bye week and everybody's going off doing their own things. You got two receivers that enjoy each other, and that's great. You want to have chemistry on the team, but they come back late. They don't get to start in the next game coming out of that bye week, and it just kind of sets things on a bad trajectory. It feels like I put more of that on the leadership in the room, but I also think that leadership starts at the top, and Coach Prime can't be going back to Texas during bye weeks.
Yeah,
this is a high-paying gig, and you can't do that if you want to be the first Black head coach in college football to win a national championship. You got to go to that next level of dedication, and if he wants to, you know, go off and watch his kids play football in Shador, wherever he ends up, and I hope he plays well wherever he is. There's no bad feelings there, but just you can't leave Boulder as much as he does.
Yeah, well, you know, and you can't ask the play. You can't say to the players, keep your focus on the game during the season when you're not staying there too. You know, you have to stay there. And I mean, these are young dudes. You know, I mean, they are looking to the coaches to show leadership. You know, and so he's got to stay there too. You know, somebody asked in the chat just now, can some of these coaches learn and grow? Well, I don't think most of this staff, you know, Pat Shurmur is at a point in his career, he ain't gonna change, and he ain't gonna grow. He's just done, you know. And then a couple of these guys are just Coach Prime's friends and haven't demonstrated to me that they're coaches at all. And so I don't think it's been 3 years and I haven't seen any growth from most of them at all. I think you keep Livingston and you hire a new offensive coordinator. You let them hire their own damn staff. You don't force your friends on.
Yeah, let's move along. We got a lot of questions here, William. BTL Buff asked, why so long to make the switch to JuJu? Salter obviously was not the answer. What really happened during first bye week to have the team fall apart so bad? We tackled that last part here in the last few minutes. In terms of Salter, like I get hindsight is 2020. This is a young man that led Liberty to an undefeated season, rushed for over 2,000 yards there, won a lot of games. And we've seen FCS quarterbacks jump up to the Power 4 level and have success. Cam Ward is one of those examples. You know, Salter should have been the answer. They did not account for kind of the intangible part of that. And that's unfortunate.
They also didn't give him an offense that fits his skills. And you know,
it's true. That's true.
Good
point. Good point.
Good coordinators take their quarterback or whatever they got, whatever the key to their offense is, and they build their offense around it. This idiot Shurmur, you know, I kind of feel bad for Salter because he came here and he was probably sold a bill of goods and he didn't get that. You know, he's given an offense that doesn't fit what he does. Why did it take so long to go to JuJu? I think there's, you know, we don't know what was going on in practice. Maybe JuJu wasn't ready. I don't know. Maybe they just kept.
He was not ready until recently. I can confirm that based on doing a lot of research. Yeah, this isn't just let me throw that out there. Like he's ready now. And thank goodness, because they need him. They needed this spark.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with him post game. I was really impressed with just his care factor. Him saying yes sir, no sir to Coach Prime when he was challenged.
Right.
That was stuff we were not seeing early this season.
Right. And that's, you mentioned that, and some people think, well, that's not a big deal. But, man, I seen, like another thing with Omari and Miller mouthing off to the coach. Man, sit that dude on the bench, man. I don't want to see him play anymore. But you like to see that leadership from JuJu at the most important position. And as he grows into that leadership, he's going to be the one to get in the face of the players like Omari and Miller and say, cut your shit. Do it right. Do your damn job right, or get the hell out of here. You have to grow into that. And I'll tell you, making that change may seem obvious from the stands, but it's not always easy to do as the coach. You want to keep thinking, I can get this kid to that next point. So
the highest ceiling for this football team was Caden Salter to ball out,
right?
And then when that ceiling crashed, then you made adjustments. Like again, it's easy to look back and judge this from 10,000 feet, but like when you're in this week to week, I felt like they aside from Julian Lewis playing against Delaware, I feel like was probably how they needed to go about this thing.
Yeah.
All right. Blue Sky 2 asked projection for a starting lineup next year.
Why? How do you do that with the transfer portal? Are we just assuming that everybody's coming back and not? I mean, how do you even do that in the current era? Who's going to still be here? Who's going to come in from outside? I mean, I guess if we could play the game of just looking at who we got on the thing coming back. Julian Lewis is the obvious guy at quarterback. We got 2 obvious guys at edge. Beyond that, I don't know. Who comes back? Zach Atkins, I guess, is your tight end. Most of the wide receivers are back.
Gavin Mueller is your starting tight end if he stays committed.
If he stays committed.
Just my thoughts. Yeah.
Brandon Davis Swain is obvious. Jaheim Otis maybe is obvious. Beyond that, who knows? The
linebacker. I want to sing that song. Sending out an SOS.
Yeah, I mean, we got to bring in like 10 linebackers for God's sake.
Montrez Walker might be a good player down the road, but man, that room is looking pretty bleak. Looking ahead to next year.
Yeah, so I don't think we can. I think we got to wait for the portal and see where we are after that before we even entertain this question.
Do you want me to sing more on this show? Would that get our ratings up?
Not so much. Not without warning.
Preston Ashley might be their starting nickelbacker next year. That's a 2026 commit that I really like.
Yeah,
if you've looked into him much, but yeah, no, I went down and I said Julian Lewis at quarterback, to Kalen Taylor, Dylan Hayden at running back, Omari Miller, Joseph Williams, Drayla Miller at receiver, Gavin Mueller or Zach Atkins at tight end, Jordan Seaton and Carday Smith at tackle, Gooden and yet to be determined at guard, probably Yaya T at center, Davis Swain and Otis at defensive tackle, edge, Merritt and McPherson, like you said. Sending out an SOS on that linebacking crew. I'm not going to.
Well,
I'm not going to put you all through that.
I'm looking at the commit list, and the top 4 guys on there could very conceivably be starters. Rodney Colton at linebacker, Preston Ashley at safety, Carson Crawford at linebacker, and Gavin Mueller at tight end. Given their skills and given the needs at those positions. Yeah.
At corner, I went McKinney and King. We'll get into McKinney a little bit later. We got a question about him. Safety, Byard, Slater, and Stottmeyer. You got 3 guys there. So you started out going into the offseason a little bit better on the front lines there at safety than you have the previous offseason. So, yeah. Anything to add there before we get into our next question?
Showed some things in this game. Hopefully he builds on that.
Yeah. Farhang asked, with a disappointing season and likely shakeup of our coaching staff, how vulnerable are we to losing our core returners to the portal? JuJu, Seaton, Gooden, Carday, Tawfiq, Merritt, McPherson, Brandon Davis-Swain, Noah King, etc. And along those lines, he asked, the football portal opens January 2nd through the 16th, less than 2 weeks away. Which current players are high probability for leaving? What are the odds that some of our stars, Seton, Lewis, etc., might also jump? On the other side of this coin, what are CU's greatest needs for pickups in the portal this year? That's a lot to dive into right there.
I think a lot of those kids, and I don't, and I'm not in the room with them or whatever, but they all seem to have a relationship with Coach Prime that brought them here in the first place. Now, we saw that with Edwards last year, and it didn't hold him here. So who knows? I think I think it's just guessing on any of these kids. I'm not sure any of them even know what the heck they're going to do. I think Brandon Davis-Swain would stay because he's got a good thing going here. McPherson and Merritt, I think, played high school together and seem to be the next guys up at the edge position. Juju's I don't know. I don't even really know how to answer the question. It's in the portal era, we're going to lose some we don't want to lose. We're going to gain some that we are happy about.
Yeah, and you hope your evaluations are better this offseason than last offseason, right? That's kind of what it comes down to. I'll put hints on our message board from here to here and from here and there. And I've done that with a certain edge player in the program, but I'm not going to speculate if I don't have information on guys that are planning to leave. It's kind of like, it's hard to maintain a relationship with a person if you're going to just be constantly looking for like the exit for them, right? You got to be able to kind of navigate through this and see what's going to happen. I don't think a lot of the guys that he was listing off there are transferring out of this program. I really don't, based on what I know right now. So,
but I think also on the same note, Coach Prime's got to get his staff settled until these players who their coaches are going to be. You got to know who you're going to play for. So he needs to do that well before January and get that done so we can move forward.
And CU is not the only program that's going through that.
Right.
There are programs across the country that are going through way more crazy coaching staff changes than even if Coach Prime leveled his entire staff, which is probably not going to happen, obviously. But you still got other staffs that are less intact because they're completely revamping their program. So, it's an interesting time in college football. And I don't know if I've seen so many high-profile jobs open at this point, November 11th, as we have right now.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting time until the end of the year and see what happens with all these coaches and who winds up where, So I don't know. Coach Prime's got to get out there and find some guys that have real college background to do some of these positions.
ST Wise asked, in the second portal window of last year, was the coaching staff caught off guard by the high money cost of their remaining targets? They couldn't close on a quality running back, linebacker, or safety. For example, was a linebacker like Andrew Simpson out of their budget? I also remember losing out on a Cal running back. Yeah, I think the Cal running back was, I forget his name now, but he was set to be a Buff. To answer this question, I know you hate the NIL stuff, so I'm going to lead off here, William. I would say it was more about lack of anticipation for the quality that would be available in the spring transfer window. And so when you only got so many, a very small, talented group, the NIL number gets jumped up pretty big, right? Because it's kind of like a supply and demand type of economic lesson here. I think they need to, and they won't have to worry about this because there's going to be one transfer portal window going forward, but they need to really lock up that roster before spring ball and get that group bonding together. And the second, there used to be that second transfer window. I'm glad it's gone away because I think it's going sets these kids up for a kind of a bad
Well,
experience.
It's like you said earlier in the year that the second portal window is basically teams trading their backups,
Right.
and they're
I
just.
stick by that. Yeah. Based on this season. Yeah.
And I think the answer to STY's question is there wasn't as much talent in that second window as they thought, and so you got a linebacker like Andrew Simpson, and he's the only linebacker basically in that second window that's really good. Everybody's going to get on board with it, and it's going to be a bidding war, and not only a bidding war, but where can you go and play and make a difference right away, and going back to the last part of Farhang's question, he asked, what are the greatest needs for pickups in the portal? And I'd say almost everything, given the roster that we have,
Yeah.
But is it going to be all about the money? I think it's more than that. I think Coach Prime got to get out there and actually, sell this program.
We got another question about that. Yeah, going back to Farhang's question. Linebacker, cornerback,
Right.
Guard, offensive guard.
We need a game breaking running back, man. I don't know if we can afford that, but we got to try because we don't have it.
Yeah.
When we're going to got to refill that offensive line. I think we got the basis. We've built the basis for a really good offensive line. We're going to need a lot more pieces.
Yeah. Buff Bosco asked, we are learning a lot about the transfer portal. What position is the easiest to bring in and contribute right away? Which position takes longer and needs to be more of an investment?
Well, I'd say wide receiver seems to be the most immediate play based on last year and this year. You can bring in good wide receivers and plug them right in, and they seem to do pretty well.
And running back, I think, like skill positions, yeah.
Yeah, I think the defensive line can be that way. We just had such a rash of injuries. It's nuts this year. But, I think we also I think we touched on this earlier, but the first half of the season, that offensive line was playing great, and it was all but one guy was brought into the transfer portal. So I think you can do pretty well with the offensive line if you get the right guys,
Yeah, I would say O-line is the toughest transition. And then in CU's system, cornerback playing man coverage. I mean, that's a tough gig, though. Those guys are asked to sign up for. And we've seen that kind of challenge those guys this year.
Yeah, that's what I would say, too.
Yeah. Nepper asked, is money really going to change? This will be a real where there will be a real salary cap and NIL policing for the 2025 recruiting year. Nepper, I love your optimism about college football becoming clean with this new $20.5 million revenue distribution. But, you still got the NIL aspect that is off campus. And, yeah, there are regulations in there, but come on, I don't know. I'm cynical in that sense. Texas Tech, if they want to buy a winning team in the Big 12, they can still do that going forward.
Well,
that's kind of
Oregon bought a winning team, and Texas Tech did too. If you got that kind of unlimited funds, that's what you can do, and it's not going to ever change. It's not going to ever change. It's been that way for 100 years.
Below the table, above the table, or in this case, I think because the NCAA said with their new NIL collective policies that it's got to be like a publicly traded company. They're going to find a way to get through that. They just are. I mean, it's naive to think any other way.
Hey, in the area of personal growth, did you notice I mentioned Oregon and didn't go on a rant?
So I saw Dan Lanning the other day.
See, you had to go there, huh? Ask the next darn question.
All right, we'll go on to that. All right. Next one is from Farhang. After an underwhelming year, do you think DJ McKinney plays in another year of college ball? If so, in Boulder or elsewhere? Yeah, he's got to come back. He's not going to get drafted right now. So
yeah, boy.
Like the young man, just has not been the season we expected.
Yeah, and I think he's still got a future. He needs to come back and have a better year. And then what'd he say? He said, yeah, okay.
I'm not going to speculate on. I don't know. I think DJ McKinney's fine, but like you said early in this episode, William, is there are going to be guys that leave the program that we expected, some guys we didn't. And I don't want to speculate on the guys we didn't expect because it's not a fun game.
Yeah.
Should we save these last questions for our next show?
I don't know.
We've gone 50 minutes.
I don't know. I think a lot of them kind of cover some of the same areas, so we could just ask them. Yeah.
Let's roll through this. Okay. Buck and Buffalo asked, please opine on the.
I've been thinking about the last question. I want to get to that one.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
DJ McKinney, go ahead.
The last question on the list, but carry on.
Okay. All right. Buck and Buffalo asked, please opine on the reasons for the struggling defense, talent overestimation, injuries, bad schemes / poor coaching. My take, ... One reason, ... RL overestimated the capabilities, Robert Livingston, he's talking about, overestimated the capabilities of his players and ran schemes that they couldn't pull off. And he put in parentheses, man coverage, linebackers getting to the edge as examples.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of all the things he mentioned. Certainly injuries decimated the interior defensive line, so we didn't get to see a lot of the guys we expected to see. I would say he had the wrong linebackers for most of the season, and he was running this crazy scheme where the defensive ends were crashing down, and he had defensive backs or trying to get the linebackers out there for contain, and that was not going to work with these linebackers. I think there was some disappointment to some extent by some of the players. Some of the defensive backs, like I don't think Preston Hodge and DJ McKinney lived up to expectations. I don't think Arden Walker lived up to expectations, or Wade for that matter. So yeah, there's, and I think there was some bad schemes of play calling, but all the above, I would say, all those things get listed.
Yeah. Across the board. I would say talent overestimation would be 60% of that, though. Would be the majority of it.
I don't understand why it took him so damn long to figure out that the two best linebackers on this team were Myers and Jeremiah.
They're still rotating French through there, and every time they put French in the field, the other team is like, "We're going to go right at him."
Right.
And I like the young man. I have nothing against him personally, but holy crap, man!
Well, I'm sure that's hard. I mean, but what the hell is that guy doing coaching at this level? For God's sakes, everybody on the planet can see, who should be playing at those positions. But that, like you said, they need to rebuild that linebacker room with about 10 dudes, and I mean dudes.
Yeah.
I think he was spoiled by two really good inside linebackers last year, and thought he was going to have that this year. He didn't.
Pig Dog asked, Pig Dog, that's quite the username there. Is the second bye week going to be handled any differently than the first? We've already heard folks talk about how they're going to stay in Boulder, so that's an upgrade from the last time.
You would think, right? I mean, the last bye week turned into two blowouts.
Yeah.
I don't know, call me crazy. Maybe you'd change something. But here's the thing. Newsflash to everybody out there, they don't consult with us.
They don't. I got no. This is above my pay grade for sure.
Yeah, right.
So we'll go on to Easy 1599's question. He asked, might have missed this being covered at some point. Any reason Pat Shurmur was in the box this year instead of like last year being on the field?
Can I change the question? I would like the question to read, any reason Pat Shurmur was still associated with this program?
Well, I'm not going to respond to your question, William, but I'm going to go to Easy 1599's question and say the fact is Shedeur Sanders wanted his OC, his quarterback's coach, to be down on the field as far as I understand it. But Shermer's whole like history has been up in the box in terms of being a play caller, I believe.
That's not unusual. I mean, I think most
Yeah.
coordinators prefer to be in the box where you can see more.
That's not the reason CU's 3-7 right now. I guess that's how I'll put it. Buffs KC asked, what staffing changes do you see coming? OC, linebacker coach,
Yes.
wide receiver coach,
Yes.
DB coach,
Well,
agree.
Cornerbacks coach.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll let you take the ball and run with it, man.
Well, I don't have any problem with what the offensive line coaches have done. I don't know how it works with three of them. I think that Coach Sapp has done pretty decent, and I don't, a lot of people seem to have a problem with Pecco, but, every damn defensive lineman on the team has been out with an injury at some point. So I don't have any problem with the defensive line coaches. I don't like, I'd rather have Hilo back at linebacker because they seem to be much more effective at linebacker coach than edge coach. But often, Shermer got to go, Hart's got to go, Phillips got to go. I mean, when a guy stands up and says, I don't teach my wide receivers to block, that guy should never coach a game again. I think the cornerbacks coach, I don't know enough about defensive backs. Probably you should handle that one, but they didn't play well this year.
They're going to have a new OC quarterbacks coach in 2025 or 2026. Man, the years just keep flying by, William.
I thought Marshall Falk did a good job.
Yeah, no, he's a good coach. There's going to be drastic changes. Coach Prime said that after the game. I have some sensibility with this because getting fired is a tough gig and a tough deal, and I don't want to. But yeah, you got to get a new OC, a new quarterbacks coach. We'll see how the chips fall from there. Coach Prime he loves his guys, but man, he's made some tough decisions. So I would tell the people that are super aggressive from the negative aspect of him not just putting assistant coaches on a pitchfork mid-season, some credit for that. Like he's going to do what needs to be done. But when you're in the midst of a season, like you're not going to make wholesale changes. You just can't with your football team. So, yeah, I think linebacker play has struggled enough. Quarterback development, not good enough. I hope Coach Phillips has changed his philosophy on blocking.
But they don't get open
He
either.
can't.
They don't get open. They jump off sides. They make blocking penalties. Everything about his position sucks. And the only thing
you got to get guys in there that understand how to take a 17, 18-year-old and develop them.
Right.
And they might hit the transfer portal. You don't know that, but you can't assume these kids know everything.
They don't. The vast majority of them have not been taught how to play the game at the high school level. There's very few programs like Cherry Creek or IMG where they get good coaching at the position level. They have to be taught the game at this level.
Yeah. D How 888 asked, discuss recruiting. Early signing day is less than a month away. What's the plan? So the Buffaloes currently have 12 verbal commitments on board. Rodney Colton Jr., a linebacker, is coming back out to Boulder for CU's game against Arizona State. That's an important visit. This is a young man. Pull up Rodney Colton Jr.'s video from his senior season. He could be a guy that could come in there and play pretty early on. He's pretty special. He visited Ole Miss recently, some other schools in recent weeks.
And
go ahead.
The next question
No.
is part of this whole discussion, I think, too.
Yeah, no, I got more on these recruiting updates here. Preston Ashley, who I mentioned could be a starting nickelback from day one. He's from Mississippi. You got to try to keep him on board. He's up there in terms of wish list guys for this class. We've talked about Gavin Mueller from Illinois, a tight end. He has got Auburn Miami, Alabama, UNC after him. I really love Carson Crawford from Carthage, Texas, East Texas. He's got that dog mentality. He's from a winning program. He's going to be a stud. And it's crazy, William. Like usually when like I get a question like this, like who are the most important guys to keep on board? I'll have guys that are lower rated sometimes in there, but those are the top 4 rated guys in this class. So I feel like 24/7 Sports has done a good job of kind of ranking these guys because Colton, Mueller, Crawford. I mean, those are guys that are going to Ashley. They're going to be really good players at the college level.
Yeah, we need to keep those guys as and responding to his what's the plan. I mean, you'd have to get inside the war room with Coach Prime and his recruiting staff. But I imagine they're going to put the press on some guys and try to fill that class out a little bit. And the next question is it time for head coach Deion Sanders to change his approach to recruiting and make some home visits? I think yes, but I think there's also more than that. So I think there are other changes that need to be made in the recruiting of this team. I think they need to get the assistant coaches working on this as well. There's no point having all those Hall of Fame guys that are not getting on the phone and talking to guys.
Yeah, no, exactly. You got that cachet. You can bring them out to campus, and that's nice. But you got to build a relationship. It's like anything in life, William. Like if somebody is like talking to you every day, like you're gonna build a closer relationship with them than you do somebody that you got to travel to see them for the first time, right?
Right, for sure. And that's what a relationship is a day-to-day, you get to know each other and you trust. It's it's basically trust for these kids. Where am I going to go and be able to trust the coach is going to develop me, play me, win games, because everybody thinks it's just the money bag, but they want to win too. They want to get better and play in the NFL too, So there's a lot of things that go into it.
Northside Roger, we got a live question here. Adam, what is the temperature with CU recruiting in-state? This is always a fun topic, William. We enjoy these. It sucks they can't get the linebacker from Cherry Creek because I think he's a really good player. I don't know if I've seen one guy in this 2026 in-state class that really matters to me. I'm just going to be honest.
Just that line, he's the only one that really excites me too much. And he's a second linebacker from Cherry Creek to go up to Oregon. So, there's something more that going on there, I think.
Yeah.
I think
Do you have anything you want to add there? I mean, it's just I don't want to beg on these in-state kids. Like we went out to go see Josiah Manu recently, and he's leaned out because he's having to play defensive end for his team, but he's going to be a good player. You're going to have to develop him though.
Yeah, he's going to be.
It's going to be 3 years before he's getting on the field in the college.
And I think there's two things. There's two different sides of what's going on in the state of Colorado. First of all, high school football is not that good here, and they're not well coached, and we don't seem to have a lot of talent to begin with. But the other thing is, with the talent we do have, all they know of CU, aside from last season, is a crap program. And it's been a joke all their lives. So it's kind of hard. They're front and center on all the problems CU has had the last 10 years, whereas kids from out of state probably don't know a damn thing about CU. But the kids from in-state, all they know about is how bad CU is. I think it's hard to overcome that.
Cowboy 5-0 was asking about Deacon Schmidt and Brett Collegier. Yeah, good players. Yeah, good players. Yeah, it's still like that's not fixing your program in 2026. It just isn't. Those would be good guys to add to your program, but it's going to take development with them as well.
But I think the 3 offensive linemen that we got on board are just as solid as those two guys, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. All right, so let's get into our last questions here. Buff Ticket asked, is it time for head coach Deion Sanders to change his approach to recruiting and make some home visits? I like the word home visits. It's different than going to schools. And I totally understand why Coach Prime can't announce that he's going to school XYZ because it's going to piss off every other coach that he doesn't go to. But you identify certain kids, their top priorities. You get on a private jet. If you want to be if you want to be the first black head coach to win a national championship, and if he can do that at Colorado, that would be the most amazing moment in all of our lives. If you want to do that, you got to get out there on that private jet and do some visits with kids in their home. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot, a lot's changed in recruiting, and I don't know how important the home visit is anymore with kids having agents and all that kind of junk. But I think getting like we said about
Deion Sanders is a different personality, man.
Yeah.
You put him in that house.
Well, that's
crunch
what
time.
it's like. You got a running back, go out there with him and Marshall Faulk, man. Hell, bring your rings, and same thing with Sapp with a defensive tackle. Put these guys,
Yes.
like you put Warren Sapp in the living room with mom and dad, and that's a whole different ball game, man. Maybe it doesn't overcome somebody else's money, but it doesn't hurt. So yeah, I think they need to get these guys out of the damn building and out to meet these guys.
100%. And I thought early on it wasn't the worst strategy because you were vetting guys. You were weeding out guys that were more looking for an opportunity to go meet Coach Prime versus like actually being serious about Colorado. So it's like, okay, if you come to our campus, it shows you that you're serious. Now, 3 years in, you're going to finish with 3, 4, 5 wins. You got to change that approach.
Yeah.
Buff Bosco asked, what is the best and worst uniform combination? Actually, let me try to make this work here.
You set the whole presentation for us. If it
I tried. All right, let's go here. All right. Let's go first game. We got the traditionals there. That's my favorite. That's my favorite CU uniform.
Yeah, I love that a lot. I mean, it's the more traditional look, and I think longtime fans are going to love that one for that traditional look. I just think it's sharp.
Where does that rank for you? Is that?
Well, I have to see them all again. I think it's near the top.
Okay.
We'll call that gold, black, gold.
This one, I forget what game this was. This was black, black, black.
I kind of dig that. I think it's kind of intimidating.
That's a good one. Let's go white, black, black. Not as big a fan myself.
I kind of like it. I like the contrast of the white helmet.
We're going black, gray, gray. Black, silver, silver, I guess.
Yeah. Black, silver.
I don't like this at all.
Yeah,
I hate this uniform.
Not wild.
This is the most disgusting uniform I've ever seen at CU. So that's my vote for worst uniform combination this year. We got the Stormtroopers here against TCU.
I love those all whites. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just dig that, and I think the players and other people, others like it too.
Here we got the black, black, white. Sorry, Micah, I did you dirty here. You're getting pile drive by a bunch of Iowa State defenders here, but you get the gist of it. It reminds me of with the shoulders a little bit too much of the Dan Hawkins era, so I'm going to go thumbs down on that one.
The white pants kind of look high school to me.
Yeah. All right. This one was controversial. I actually love this jersey. Black, gold, black. This is my favorite, and I know I'm going to get pushed back here, but this is my favorite one.
That may be my favorite too. I wish the helmet was a little bit brighter, but I just think that's great.
Can you imagine that with a chrome Buffs helmet?
Oh my God,
how cool that would look! Oh man, that would be good. Like a black with the buffalo there.
Shiny pants.
Good. We got black, gray, black here. I'm kind of indifferent to this one.
I don't hate it. I don't love it.
And then we got what we had out at West Virginia, white, gray. Not a huge fan either on this one.
Not wild about that one either.
So I would go, this is my favorite, or second favorite.
Yeah,
That's my third favorite.
we're on the same page because that
Okay.
black gold black is that's going to be my number one right there, and then the gold black gold.
This one surprisingly is my favorite, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
People are not happy with that, but
That's right.
I'll go 1, 2, and then 3. Where are we on this one? 4. Those are my top 4.
Yeah, surprisingly, for once, we're on the same page entirely.
Look at us. Look at us. I gotta get that
All
on
right.
there somehow. There we are. All right. Folsom 104 asked, Ginger or Mary Ann?
Well, first of all, you got to be of a certain age to even know what the hell that question means.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. Let me lead into this by saying that I've had a bout of insomnia here in the last year, and I'll sometimes watch TV at like 2 a.m. and I'll see Gilligan's Island come up on whatever channel it is, and I swear that show puts me to sleep better than anything that I've encountered yet. The skipper's a bit aggressive. Poor Gilligan. I feel bad for him. As a kid, I like the skipper, but like you get older, you like, man, you got to put these kids in their place sometimes. In terms of Ginger or Mary Ann, where are you going there?
Oh, it's not even close. It's Mary Ann by far.
Okay.
But then you've seen who I'm engaged to, and skinny white girls is not my thing.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Liz Munsterteiger. That's my my answer.
There's the smart answer, and I'll I'm gonna have Sindhu now watch this.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you normally, though. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good show, man. 112. We did it after another loss, and thanks to everybody out there. Let me make sure we don't have any super chats in there that we haven't got to, but no, it's been a fun show. And let's close this out, William.
Joe Kidd said, "Who gets engaged?" Hey, I ain't dead. I ain't dead, man. Holy crap. Oh, and no Mrs. Howell, Sean. Thank you. No. Let's just, well, boy, now this is going down. Okay, I'm done with the chat room.
Well, yeah.
She's just right in all the right places.
Way to end the show. Way to end the show, William. I appreciate you.
Oh, we just threw me to the lions, man.
We'll get back. Sorry, I'm having a hard time catching my breath. That's a lot coming at you right now in the chat. So we got to end this show. William, I appreciate you as always, man. And let's get back to the Hungry Toad soon. That sound good?
Yeah. Get a burger.
I got a great burger out at the airport. Surprisingly,
really,
I'm a big burger snob.
Yeah, yesterday I went to a place on the 16th Street Mall called 5280 Burger, and that was really good.
Oh, okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah,
if you got the name burger in your name, you better be good at burgers.
Well, it's like I know how to make a burger, so I know how I like it, and I can make it at home. So I'm kind of, I don't order burgers a lot, but man, that really hit the spot out there at the airport at West Virginia, and I do want to shout out the Mountaineers fans, William. That was probably the most respectful fan base I've seen, and Liz was down on the field photographing the game, and she mentioned that as well. That that this was the coolest road trip we've taken so far this year. So shout out to them for being graceful, and Pittsburgh was rainy and cold, but some cool spots there. Went to the Drove right by the Heinz Museum that's there, and the Andy Warhol Museum. My wife and I walked through, so there was some cool stuff to see out there. And
Oh, and
they've got rivers everywhere and bridges everywhere. It's kind of a cool place.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, you got that Manhattan, Kansas visit to look forward to.
Woo! I pray, William, there is not an ice storm out there, because that's what scares me about Kansas that time of year. Cars just off the road in every direction. And so hopeful for that. But first off, we got the bye week, and we can come back next week, maybe answer some other questions, do some more broad topic stuff, get into that Arizona State game. And then, Thanksgiving, Kansas State. We're getting to the end here, man. It's kind of crazy how quick this goes.
Yeah. Yeah, it always goes so fast, and then the off season takes forever. But we'll see what happens in this bye week. You know, he's promising changes, so we'll see what they do.
All right. William, appreciate you, and we will reconvene next week. Appreciate you.
Sure.
Is your business growing but not quite ready for a full-time CFO? Macaulay Capital offers fractional CFO services for companies doing more than $3 million in annual revenue. You get expert financial leadership without the full cost. Learn more about how you can improve your business's profitability and cash management at MacaulayCapital.com. If you know Boulder, you know the Hungry Toad. We've been serving this town since 1991, long before the lines on Pearl Street. Just north of campus, we're your local British pub with proper fish and chips, quality burgers, a scratch kitchen, real English cask ale, and no tourist fluff. We support CU football, women's soccer, and the loyal fans who keep it local. The Hungry Toad, Boulder-born, Buffs proud.